Hello everyone. In previous video we had a discussion, or we just had an overview of how we need to be prepared for SAP FI certification and what are the things required, like how many questions will be there and where we can do it, whether it is online or whether it is in the classroom where SAP conducts the examination. So all kinds of details we have discussed in our previous video. So from this video we will be learning the topics which will be covered in the examination. So if we move on to the first topic, that is chapter 1. In chapter 1 we have SAP HANA, SAP S4 HANA and SAP Fiori. Actually, I have discussed SAP HANA and SAP HANA in one of my previous videos. You can even check that video. I will give you in the top right corner of this video in the iCard. And let us learn more about SAP Fiori in this video, or I will do a separate video or more about SAP Fiori. In this video, let us learn what is SAP HANA, SAP S4 HANA and SAP Fiori from certification perspective. Before, we have discussed in general what actually all these things are, but in this video we will talk in certification perspective and also in real-time perspective. Okay, so in this chapter it is like these are all the things we need to master in this chapter. It is like explain SAP strategy for digital transformation. So for digital transformation, what actually the SAP's strategy is. SAP framework for the digital enterprise. We will learn more in detail about these topics in our coming video. So this is like we need to, from this chapter, from certification point of view, we need to learn more about these things. So role of SAP Cloud Platform and SAP Leonardo, and what is SAP HANA technology, and the scope of financials for SAP S4 HANA and deployment option for SAP S4 HANA, and SAP Fiori design pillars and SAP Fiori launchpad and SAP Fiori application types. So these are the main concepts which we need to understand from this chapter. So in this chapter even we will explore more about the architecture of SAP HANA and the scope and deployment options of SAP S4 HANA and also basic functions of SAP Fiori user interface. Okay, and by understanding all these things, even we will understand how this can be used in real time when we work with the client. So this is mainly like we are converting our old system to the new system. This is totally different. So we need to explain the customers, or we need to convince the clients who are already using the SAP ERP and need to migrate to SAP S/4HANA, or new clients who are using different ERP and they are thinking to migrate to SAP S/4HANA. One is existing customers and other is new customers. So we need to have deep understanding of the architecture or technologies which used in SAP HANA. So it will be helpful to convince the clients easily. So in order to explain or in order to work with real scenarios, so first we need to understand the architecture that SAP S/4HANA built on. So SAP HANA is the core of SAP strategy and is a faster database. We were just here make a point like SAP strategy for digital transformation. So everything nowadays is becoming digital. So how we can achieve this digital transformation with the older database. The older databases was designed to the level how the technology was in the olden days, but nowadays everything is becoming digital, so even it needs some developments in the database which we are using. So SAP came up with a strategy of SAP HANA. So we will learn in detail, or also I have already explained in detail about SAP S/4HANA and also SAP HANA in my previous video, and also I will explain the possible extent even in this video. So SAP HANA database is a biggest change for SAP S/4HANA. Means SAP HANA is the core of SAP strategy. This is the strategy which they used for digital transformation. Before, they were using different databases like Oracle database, many Sybase, something or some databases which was very much slower. So even if we see, if anyone of us worked in ECC, we know that the system was too slow when we run the reports. So they tried to make the database faster by using different technologies. So SAP is often perceived as expensive. We should be able to explain the client or the customer who are interested in using SAP S/4HANA. As we know, SAP is an expensive product, but we should be able to explain the client or customers why it is expensive and how it will be useful in ease our business process or to ease our reports, and what are the technologies they used to have faster reports. And we have reconciliation issues, we have slower issues, slow reporting. There are many issues in older systems. So we should be able to explain about how it will be useful. Like we need to explain about the technologies which they have used for compressing the data, and also how they have used the technology for storing the data in columns. At least we should have some idea on it, so it will be easy to explain to the customers on a high level. So we can change the perception of thinking them it is expensive. So we can make them feel them it is very much beneficial even though it is expensive. So other thing in the, so these are all the things which we need to learn to convince the new clients or the existing clients to migrate to SAP S/4HANA. So SAP ERP is no more go-to platform for SAP. The older SAP ERP is not a go-to solution for the ERP, because SAP S/4HANA is a separate product line from old ERP. It is not the extension, or it is not an upgraded version of SAP ERP. It is a totally a new product line when we compare with old ERP. So which is a big change, and which is a big risk for SAP to decide on that, which is a big change, and a decision with large risk for SAP. So because we understood that, right, if it is already the existing ERP, they have invested millions of rupees, and now the company is saying they need to convert completely to the new system. So the customers will feel uncomfortable moving to the new systems because they already invested lots of money. So SAP have to think each and every consequences which they need to face from the customers, and they have to develop the product based on that. But now we can see that SAP S/4HANA is very much successful, and the consultants or companies were able to explain to the customers the true benefits of the new system. We have to explain what is the special about the system and the difficulties to adapt to the new systems, how they can move to SAP S/4HANA. So just we need to explain all these questions which will raise from the customers. Is there a risk in losing their millions of rupees which they already invested in the old software? So if you explain in detail about each and every functionality or advantages in SAP S/4HANA, definitely the client or customers will be happy in migrating to the SAP S/4HANA. So we need to explain the reasons. So, and also one of the wonderful thing which they developed in new SAP S/4HANA is SAP Fiori, which is an app based GUI. It is a GUI for end users. So we should be in the position to explain the benefits of the SAP Fiori, how we can use it in the mobile device and also in the desktop. And the tile, we need to explain about, just to have an idea what is tile group, what is a tile catalog, and what are all the roles. So based on the roles how the user can see their screens which are directly assigned to their roles. So just all this normal information, if we learn, uh, we should be able to explain to the customers. So these are all the things which we are going to learn in this chapter, even for real-time experience. So as when we come on to the certification perspective, we need to understand what is SAP HANA in-memory architecture. So there are few technologies or few things they have used in SAP HANA. So SAP HANA is a database and SAP S4 HANA is an application. So SAP HANA as a database, we need to understand. They said like it is a faster. It is fast. Here we can see, right? It is a faster database. So we need to understand how it became faster and what are the technologies what actually they did for compression and how they are storing the data in columns. So these are few things we need to understand in regarding SAP HANA. And when we come to SAP S4 HANA, just we need to understand the products and also the architecture which they use it for financials and the deployment options, we already discussed in our previous video, like on-premise, cloud and hybrid. So which will be best for the customers, and what is the Fiori language and Fiori application types. So these are the few things which we learn from a certification perspective, and these are the few things which we learn, which we need to understand to work in the real time. So from this topic we are going to get 10% of the questions from this topic. So let us move on and learn further more in detail about SAP HANA and SAP S4 HANA and Fiori. So if we move on to the first point which was in our list, the first one is SAP strategy for digital transformation. This one. So SAP strategy for digital transformation. We all know, right? Digital transformation. What do we mean by digital transformation? Each and every business is transforming digitally. Means every business is becoming online, from education to shopping. If we see, each and every business is becoming online. So how they have to expand their business to this technological world, because nowadays all the businesses are becoming online, and it was moving up. Means like we need all the business need to catch up with these changes and also with the competition. So as we all know that there are computers and softwares which are helping uh, to move up with a technology. Even traditionally, the computers and softwares are helping, are supporting the business. And nowadays the digital transformation is very rapid. This rapid changes has even made SAP to change its structure or architecture of the database. So because there will be huge data, because each and every business became online, and each and every transaction needs to be documented. So if we know, like uh, in previous days, or in maybe in means like in past days, we can say there were only few transactions which might be entered in SAP system, like the wholesaler selling to the distributor, and distributor selling to retailers. It was the step by step process. Now what happened, the wholesaler is directly selling to the consumer. So for each and even a single item, they need to document the entry. So like this, the data is getting bigger, and as the data is getting huge, the system performance will get um, slow down. So um, for this SAP had a strategy for the digital transformation, which we are going to how it has achieved it. So even for this digital transformation, SAP had some come up with some strategy. So even in the digital, with the digital transformation in business, it implies the adoption of, so they have to use few technologies to speed up with the digital transformation. So few of the technologies like big data, we might have heard of big data everywhere in the market. Like each and every business um, is affected by this big data, means like each and everything is now captured in the system, and the data is growing bigger and bigger each and every day. So they have to um, save this data, and they have to have reports based on this data. So they should know how to actually safeguard the big data, right? And internet of things, and also each and every process is getting automated. As we discussed in our previous video, we had an example showing that how the goods receipt was getting automated, like um, based on the, so in few of the companies, the whenever the truck comes, there will be a scan copy. Just by scanning, the goods receipt will get posted. So that is of internet of things, artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is nothing but they have used even this. It's a machine which identifies the similar kind of processes or something. They have used many of the things in SAP to develop the SAP HANA architecture. And also they were using social medias nowadays to um, grow their business, and give publicity of their innovations in their business. So many things are happening. This is the so what is the SAP strategy for digital transformation? SAP so even for SAP, the digital transformation has given a lot of challenges to develop its new product. So if we check our second one, which is SAP framework for the digital enterprise. So that is like intelligent enterprise framework. If we move on from digital transformation, the actually we understood why the digital transformation um, is happening, and what are the technologies we can use for the digital transformation. Now we understand the effect of digital transformation across all the business functions such as marketing, operations, human resources, administration, everywhere the effect of the digital transformation can be foreseen, and it forces organizations and also people to rethink, to optimize the business processes. So how they can optimize? They can optimize and they can benefit from adopting the automation in their day-to-day activities. So even SAP is investing heavily to support this digital enterprise, and is adapting a strategic framework to help businesses running and cutting the costs for their enterprise technology. Even it helps in to automate the process. So not only SAP helps in digitally transforming their business, and also it helps in automating automating their business processes with intelligence enterprise framework. So if we see the main uh, third point is the role of SAP Cloud Platform and SAP Leonardo. So we understand from this, the first is digital transformation, how the world is transforming digitally, and we also seen how the SAP framework is working for digital enterprise, how they are automating the business processes, and and now we are going to understand the SAP Cloud Platform, how it how the SAP Cloud Platform helps in this digital transformation, and also SAP Leonardo. Okay, so to discuss in detail, um, as we already discussed that the effect of digital transformation is forcing the organizations to optimize their business processes. How? It is through automation. So what are the three key products SAP is offering to support this intelligent enterprise? So these are the three: Intelligent Suite, SAP Cloud Platform, Intelligent Technologies. In the Intelligent Suite, it helps in um, it helps in supporting the end-to-end business processes. End-to-end. So these are all some. So just to understand how SAP has developed this SAP HANA. HANA is a database which is comprised of all these things in the background. So how they have arrived, in future the data is going to be huge, and there might be requirements from the businesses for automation, and and like this there are many requirements from the customers. So they have foreseen all these things, uh, like um 10 years ago, and they started working on their own database which helps in uh, which helps in mm, means like which helps the businesses to transform easily to the digital transformation, and also drives the digital transformation smoothly through SAP. So they have spent many years on developing the SAP HANA database. So just to understand how they have developed and what are the technologies they have used in the background, just to have a brief idea, we are discussing all these points. So SAP Cloud Platform. So if we see the SAP Cloud Platform, it helps in building and delivering business applications. So this strategy is mainly to shift development focus into SAP Cloud Platform. Something it was like they had something to develop in SAP Cloud. So it will be a great flexibility for both SAP and the third party developers. So it was building and delivering some business applications through SAP Cloud Platform. So this and all they are using for intelligent enterprise. So in order to have the systems to behave as per the uh, recent requirements, it has to act very intelligently. So they have used all the available technologies to make the SAP system to work faster and smarter. So they have used the all available technologies. So that's what it is. Actually the key thing to explain here is, as the um, businesses are transforming digitally, and even SAP framework was changing to adapt to that digital transformation. So how they have adapted and how they have developed the SAP system to match to the present technology needs, that is what they have explained. Like they are using many intelligent technologies which was available in the market. So in so SAP Leonardo is one of the technology, and it has multiple modern technologies which helps for automation and detection and something many other things, and preventing do some thing it will do, which includes like artificial intelligence, blockchain, big data, internet of things, analytics. They have used many of the technologies to develop the SAP HANA database. So as the ERP system which was already designed, which was working presently in ERP, it was not supported, or it was not designed to support the digital transformation. So because of this reason, SAP has foreseen the growth happening 10 years ago, and they created SAP HANA Business Software, which not only supports the digital transformation and also drives the digital transformation. So that is actually the background of digital transformation. And if we see, so what is the framework for the digital enterprise? So now actually the businesses are growing very much faster through digitally. So SAP needs some changes to its software to in order to meet the requirements of the business. So because of that, it has developed a new database called SAP HANA. Okay, now let us understand in little more detail how the SAP HANA was developed. So if we discuss about the SAP HANA database, it is not only a database which helps in storing and retrieving data from the applications. This database is very unique. It also helps it is actually very unique, which helps in offering application development services and also supports a variety of programming languages. So with this we can say that it is not just a database, it is more than really fast database. If we see in SAP HANA database, there are three standout features which make it unique. So that is in-memory database, aggressive compression, and columnar data storage. So what is in-memory database? So even this we have discussed in detail in our previous video. So we all know that there are two types of storages for an electronic device. So it is a ROM and RAM. So ROM is nothing but a hard disk and RAM is read random access memory. Okay, so normally when we store the data, first it goes to RAM and then it will get stored in ROM. So here they are using the same technology to store the data in memory, not in the hard disk. So whenever we need to access the data, first it will with the old method, if we want to store the data, it will read the data from ROM, means from the hard disk, and again it has come to the RAM and then it will display on the application screen. So due to the same reason, it basically avoided storing data in the hard disk. It will store, but mainly the recent data we will store it in the RAM. So it helps us improve in performance and generating the reports very in faster way. So that is the help of RAM. So if you want to know more in detail about this, you can watch my previous video about SAP HANA and SAP S4 HANA. I have explained in much more detail in that video. So RAM storage is one of the main benefit in SAP HANA. Because of that, it increases the speed and performance of the system and also the speed in generating the reports. So that is one advantage. So this is one of the challenge in ACC, like there was many complaints from the users, like the generation of reports is very much slower. So Due to that, they have rectified that challenge which is in ECC with the RAM storage. Aggressive compression. So as we know, the data is accumulating day by day in the systems, due to which the storage capacity at the storage devices needs to be, we need to increase the storage capacity. So if we use the techniques of compressing the data, so we can save on the hard disks, which is a huge cost for the companies or customers. So they have used many technologies to compress the data. So another is columnar. So another one is column data storage. So before, SAP was storing the data in the row based. So as there are many advantages to use the column data storage, SAP has changed the storage type to column data storage. So there are two reasons. If we store the data based on the columns, there are two reasons, like there is a better compression. We can compress the data very much easier, and also we can retrieve the data faster. So that is the purpose why they have moved to column data storage, and also it works great for data aggregation and parallel processing. So parallelly, if many users use the same transaction, or it's a parallel thing. If different users use the systems parallelly, even though they use parallelly, the speed will be fast. This means like it increases the speed. Column storage is more commonly found in OLAP. We have discussed this in more detail, how it works with BW. Online analytical processing. Column storage is more commonly used in this OLAP, and ECC was working mainly on OLTP, online transactional processing. So these are few things which made SAP HANA Database a unique database when compared to ECC. So like this, they have used the latest technologies and latest innovations in developing the SAP HANA software. So let us see what are the technology enablers for success with SAP HANA. We know that nowadays there is a large volume of transactions posted in SAP system, and even though we post large volumes of transactions, we always have a high bandwidth in our systems, and also if required for the memory, it is easy to offer to increase the memory. So what is it, how they have did it? They are compressing the data. They are using many technologies to achieve this benefit. and also new generation microprocessors with multiple cores. So if we have more knowledge on the technology, this will be very easy to understand. But I am not actually a student from technology, but we every day hear about these things, right? Microprocessors, multi-cores, and all these things. So this makes our CPU to run faster. So if we have high RAM, normally if we have high RAM, what will happen? Our systems will perform faster, right? So even the phones which we select, the uh, laptops which we select, we see for highest RAM, 8 GB RAM, 16 GB RAM, 32, 64, like that. So that helps in making the data to access from the computers or from the storage memories faster. Okay, expandable modular data centers. And also in SAP HANA, they have made a setup to add more servers if required. So to increase for more memory and also to increase the processing power. Cloud computing solutions. This is the one main advantage of SAP HANA. So SAP is available on cloud. It is not only on premise, even the small customers who need to use SAP, they can subscribe on yearly basis and they can use the SAP cloud applications for their small businesses. Even to attract small customers, SAP has did many changes to its database. So as we already discussed in our previous video in detail, so SAP HANA is a database. SAP S/4HANA is an application. SAP HANA database is a background one where we store data and everything, what the calculations which done, everything, whatever happens in background will be done in SAP HANA database. Whatever we see in the foreground, we can see it in the application, SAP S/4HANA application, that is foreground. So from this we understand that SAP HANA is developed with all the technologies available in the market, with all the latest technologies available in the market, and improved to great extent, and rectified all the SAP challenges. And rectified all the challenges which we are facing in ECC. And so the SAP HANA has become such wonderful database to support the SAP applications in regarding the speed, in regarding the data storage, in accessing the applications, and also even if we compare with the financials, how it has drastically changed the processes of all the financials, we will say it. So just as a database, it is speed enough, and it can store a lot, and it can provide the applications on cloud, and we can add up more servers for even less cost, because we are compressing the data. It will be the servers which we need to add more often will be very less. So a revolution has been done in SAP HANA with utilizing all the latest technologies available in the market. So these are the main things regarding SAP HANA. So how SAP HANA had become the best product is with these things. So we have discussed till the 4 points. So why SAP HANA? What is the SAP strategy for digital transformation? So first we understood what is actually a digital transformation. So everything is transforming to digital. So what is SAP strategy on that? So digital enterprise. So each and every company is turning into digital. So what is the SAP framework? So how SAP Cloud Platform and SAP Leonardo helped, and what is their role, and what are the SAP HANA technologies they have used to upgrade the database. So these are the things, and we should be able to explain the customers in detail about the advantages of these things. So it will have in-memory architecture, means like the data will be stored directly in RAM, which will help in faster access of the data. So in-memory computing, there are many technologies they have used in SAP HANA. So digital transformation. So as the digital transformation is happening, so all the enterprises, means all the companies, need to force their organizations and all the departments in the organizations to optimize their business processes. It might be through automation, it might be through many other different ways. So how the SAP framework has been designed? Through intelligent shoot, it was supporting end-to-end business processes. The SAP Cloud Platform. Platform is one of the biggest revolution in SAP S/4HANA. So they will build and deliver the business applications in the cloud. So they can use it on the mobile, or they can use it on the desktop, and wherever they are required. So intelligent technology, they have used many technologies, multiple modern technological tools for automation. SAP Leonardo is a technology in that there are multiple modern technologies. So ERP systems are not fully designed to travel with digital transformation. So SAP has foreseen this 10 years ago, and they made their product supports the digital transformation. So what is the SAP HANA architecture? So it runs on in-memory database, and it compresses the data so that they have used many techniques, and also they store the data in column. They store the data in column based tables. So technology enablers. So When coming to discuss about SAP S/4HANA, the main thing, it is an application. So whatever we see on the screen is SAP S/4HANA software, which we can see it in the foreground. So the few changes mainly they did it in SAP S/4HANA was related to tables. The data it reads or it store values. Before there were totals tables and index tables. Even this I have discussed in detail in my previous video. You can check on that. It gives more details. So index tables and aggregate tables means totals tables. All these tables were removed in SAP S/4HANA. Instead, they were reading the data directly from the line items and calculate the totals. Whenever required, it will directly pull the data from the line items and it will make the total. So even they have removed the index tables which they used for reporting purpose, like all the open items tables, all the clear items tables. Even even for reporting, they will work on the line item level. So all these things are in ECC. All these things are ambiguous, and they have removed everything. And with the latest technologies, they have simplified the processes, and they have removed the index tables and also totals table, and which makes the system to give the reporting faster compared to ECC. With the latest, by using the latest technologies, and even the way they write the code might be similar, but the way they store the values was totally changed. And also, if we move on and check safeguarding existing customer investments. So we already discussed that for ECC, the customers might have invested millions of rupees or dollars in developing their systems. We know that if we have worked on ECC, if there are big companies or large companies, they have lots of customizations in their systems, which they spends millions of dollars in developing those things on yearly basis. So they don't want to disturb the existing configurations, and they have given many solutions to the customers, like how they can migrate slowly from ECC to SAP S/4HANA. So how they can get the data from ECC, and how they can convert the data compatible to SAP S/4HANA. They don't want to miss any of the data from old system and while migrating to new system. There are many things they have provided to safeguard the existing customers' investments. So to discuss little bit more on how they safeguarded, like if we see when we open SAP, we can see the migration steps and how they have particularly separated the database tables, and how they are converting the data and how they are migrating the data to SAP S/4HANA. So there are means like if we see the vendor master data, all the master data of vendor and customer needs to be converted to BPs in to business partners in SAP S4 HANA. So they are providing all the necessary tools to the existing customers to migrate to the new systems. So there is no issues, and it seems even when we work in SAP S4 HANA, we can see a lot of difference compared to ECC and SAP S4 HANA, and even customers might will be happy with this new applications. If there are any few loopholes, or they don't feel if any of the application is not working better than ECC, they are definitely reaching SAP, and SAP is working on those things. So for this, an example is like house bank. We have seen in our previous configurations. They have totally removed creation of house bank in ECC, and they have given an app in Fiori. Okay, so they can't even display the house bank information in ECC. So it seems customers are not happy with that. So all the configuration is available in ECC, and only the house bank thing is not available. So again, SAP considered their means like a problem, and they have given the display access. We have seen that in our practice videos earlier which we did. So that like that is for each and every technology, or each and every application needs to be upgraded day by day, then only they can survive in the markets. Like how now if we know only ECC, we don't get the job in this current market, because in the current market everything is moving on SAP S4 HANA. Like that they did many changes which we already discussed more in detail in our previous video. I will give the link of that video in the description and also in the icon, so you can go through that video to get more detail and more understanding of SAP HANA and SAP S4 HANA. And even we can check on the deployment options. So now let us understand the deployment options with SAP S4 HANA. So we have different options how we can deploy the system. It might be directly on premise or on cloud, or both, like hybrid. Hybrid is nothing but on premise and also can be cloud. Few things they will take on cloud, and few things they will have on premise. On premise is totally that all the servers and everything related to SAP will be in customers office or client's office, where they can do their own developments, and whatever is required to the client they can develop on their own. It is huge cost. The only thing, it is huge cost. If they are able to offer it, and if the business demands the on-premise, they can definitely go on to this, which is a more beneficial one to the clients. The cloud one. So the cloud one will not be much costlier when compared to on-premise. So cloud platform is a subscription based platform. They can opt for single system, or they can even opt for shared system. If it is single system, like it is a kind of house which is getting rented. So whole house can be taken by only one family or one person, or the same house can be shared with many tenants. Even the cloud based system works in the similar fashion. So if it is multi-tenant edition, even the edition is named as multi-tenant edition. Multi-tenant edition. If client wants to use multi-tenant edition, for every quarter it will be upgraded. So they will be keep on releasing the versions for every quarter. If it is single tenant edition, then they will be upgrading twice per year. Okay, so if it is on premise, we can see that every year we will get the releases and we need to update those patches. That's how it works. And if it is hybrid, you can use both on-premise and cloud, where whatever required, few on cloud, few on on-premise. That will be the client's decision. So this is what we need to understand: on-premise, cloud. So on-premise we will get only annual updates. We know, right? Enhancements. Every year they will release new versions. 1609, 1909. What is that? From 1609 to 1909, we can see every year there will be a version. Okay. So SAP is for HANA adoption. How you can adopt? You can adopt this through new implementation, or the existing system you can convert to SAP S/4HANA, and a landscape transformation. Yeah, new implementation we understood. If already the customer is in other ERP, if you want to move to SAP S/4HANA, you can develop it from scratch. And system conversion, it's like if he is already in ECC, he want to move to SAP S/4HANA, then he can adopt the system conversion. And landscape transformation, so he is using multiple multiple landscapes, like multiple technologies, and slowly he has to bring all the things under SAP S/4HANA. So for this he can use central finance, and through central finance the customers can take advantages of all the features available in SAP S/4HANA, and he can convert slowly to the universal general and reporting through SAP S/4HANA. Through central finance, he can perform the transactions in his own landscape systems, and for reporting purpose he can use central finance and can report in SAP S/4HANA. So yes, SAP S/4HANA system landscape. If we see this, there are two basic productive systems. One is SAP HANA as backend server, and SAP gateway server is where connections and settings to SAP Fiori are established. It is a gateway server, so we can access both with traditional GUI. So with SAP HANA we can access SAP S/4HANA with the gateway server. So it has some connections and settings to establish SAP Fiori. So with this discussion I stop this video because it is a theoretical part which we are studying based on certification. So all these things I have detailedly explained in my other video. I will give the description link, video link in the description. So please go through it. It was a super exciting video. It covered more details more than this in the other video. This video I have covered mostly related to certification. So we have learned few things and few terminologies which they might ask in a certification regarding SAP HANA and SAP S/4HANA. In my other video I will cover SAP Fiori, and in the next video I am planning to cover SAP practice questions covering all this SAP HANA, SAP S/4HANA and SAP Fiori, which they given as practice examples for the certification. So we go on through this. Like it might be a little bit kind of boring video, but at least we need to understand the terminologies which they use in this chapter, so we can be easily connected to the questions which we get in the certification. So because of that I have gone all through these things which might not be practical, which is more of theoretical. So let us stay tuned and wait for my coming videos. Thank you so much for watching my video.